Grammar can feel challenging, and a lot of people find grammar, well, boring. But Winston Grammar is easy to use. It makes sense, and it verges on fun. Homeschoolers have used this program for years, and you'll find it extremely unique and actually on trend. Students will learn through moving, seeing, hearing, and speaking without lots of handwriting. And Winston Grammar really does a fabulous job in building a solid grammar foundation. Now there are two levels, basic and advanced, with an additional practice book, the basic supplement, and a reteach program called Workbook. But in this video, we'll focus on the basic level. So let's get into the details of the Winston Grammar Basic. First, let's clarify what we mean by the term grammar. Sometimes the term's used broadly to include a few language arts skills, but fundamentally, grammar is studying what the words do in a sentence, their job, and how we use them to say what we want to say. Winston Grammar is a grammar-only program, so if you want to create a complete language arts program, you'll need to add other skills. Check out our Building Language Arts video to make sure you're covering all the English language arts. Winston Grammar can be used with students from grades 4 to grade 12. Students can start with the basic level if they're reading at a 4th to 5th grade reading level. However, the author of Winston Grammar believes that to understand grammar, students should be able to comprehend some abstract thought. Students have to be able to think beyond the words they're reading to what job that word is doing. And to make sure that the level is the right fit, have your child take the placement test linked below. So let's dig into this personality of Winston Grammar using Rainbow Resources Family Way. First, it's a neutral curriculum. It doesn't contain secular or religious content. Because children learn by exploring and engaging with the included manipulatives, it fits well into a Montessori educational approach. Now, the teacher involvement is low. On the first day of each week, you'll teach that week's new grammar concept. So that day will require the most of your teaching time, and then each week follows that same pattern, and daily lessons will take 10 to 15 minutes a day. Now, once your student gets the daily pattern down, their lessons can be self-directed. Throughout the 30-week course, you'll just be coming alongside and supporting them on an as-needed basis. Students will progressively advance through the concepts, starting with basic grammar, and then you'll systematically add new grammar concepts every couple of lessons. This program's inexpensive and the teacher book is reusable. The course components engage all types of learners, kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. To use this one-year course, the basic set includes everything you need: student workbook, teacher's manual, clue cards, and noun function cards. The consumable student workbook includes 30 lessons. Each of these lessons takes about 1 week to complete, but you decide the speed. Also, to gauge your students' retention of the concepts, 4 quizzes and 2 tests are included. Now let's look at the cue cards. This is what really makes this program unique: the basic cards and the noun function cue cards. The basic card set teaches 10 basic parts of speech: nouns, articles, verbs, helping verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, coordinating conjunctions, personal pronouns, interjections, and then there's black cards. The second set of 8 larger advanced noun function cards helps students learn how the nouns work, and that teaches more complicated grammar, and those are introduced at lesson 23. If you have more than one student using this level simultaneously, consider using the additional basic student pack, which contains 1 student workbook and additional cue cards. The last component is the teacher's manual, which gives a course overview and provides daily lesson key points and tips. The first half of the manual provides the teaching material for all 30 lessons. Lesson 1 is written as a model lesson with a detailed teacher script, what you say to your student. And then from lesson 2 on, this same format is repeated. Each lesson will review the grammar concept, provide the necessary grammar concepts with a short script to help explain it, and then a model sentence will demonstrate how the grammar cards are used. And a few practice sentences will guide you as you and your student work together. And once your student grasps this new concept, then they'll be ready to take their workbook and complete their assignments for the day. The second half of the teacher's manual provides the answers for all 30 worksheets, the 4 quizzes, and the post-test. Lessons follow 3 basic steps. Step 1, students will learn the new grammar concept with you guiding them. Step 2, then student cards come out to identify that part of speech in the provided sentence. And step 3, once they've labeled everything with cards, your student will then transpose that into their student workbook using directions that you provide from the teacher's manual. So let's see how these cards work in a daily lesson. Typically, a day's assignment is about 2 to 3 sentences. First, you pull out the cards your student will use for that day. For lesson 1, the teacher manual directs us to pull out the article cards, the noun cards, and the black cards. Now, this program starts by teaching nouns and articles simultaneously because articles and nouns are always connected. First, explain the content from the teacher manual and model labeling a sentence with these 3 cards. And then you and your student will review how to mark the grammar using the sentence in their workbook. So let's look at those first 2 cards. They'll help you understand how every other card element teaches different parts of speech to your student. All the basic grammar cards follow this same pattern. One side of the card shows the part of speech or the grammar concept and a visual memory prompt. If your student needs some clues, just flip the card over. These cues will help trigger their memory so they can pick out the part of speech that they're learning. This side of the article card shows the 3 English articles, a, an, and the. Even the card color prompts you. This card is red to remind you, hey, stop, and look for the noun. Your teacher guide tells your student what to do when they find one in their workbook. Put a check mark over every article. Check. Now it's time for the white noun card. One side provides picture clues. The other side tells you how to identify this part of speech. The 4 picture clues on the noun card remind you that nouns name 4 things: person, places, things, or ideas. Questions on the bottom of this card help you test whether the word is a noun, so you can rule out words that aren't doing that job. This side shows the word noun underlined. So when your student finds a noun in their workbook, they're going to underline it. There's additional information at the bottom of this card, but those concepts will be taught later on in the course. And finally, it's time for that special black card. Whatever part of speech you don't know yet, you're going to mark it with a black card. And as your student works through the year, they're going to feel more empowered as they identify more and more parts of speech, and they're going to be using fewer and fewer black cards. So let's start week number 1's lesson. First, as a teacher, you'll model a sentence for your student. The boy and the girl saw a man eat an apple. The, article, boy, noun. Now we're at the word and. I don't know what an and is. It's not a noun. Your student hasn't been taught what type of grammar the word and is yet. So, black card. Your student will apply these steps for the rest of this sentence. After you've taught the new grammar concept, then it's time for your student to do that day's assigned sentences. Their task has 2 parts. First, they're going to recreate the sentence using the cards. Then their last job is in the student book. Label the sentence on the worksheet. This step is crucial and requires a level of abstract thought, and when students do this step, they see the grammar being used in context. Now, FYI, Winston Grammar teaches a labeling approach to grammar and does not teach diagramming. If you desire your students to learn diagramming, they'll be well prepared, though, after completing this program. Scheduling is easy with Winston Grammar. The goal is to accomplish about one lesson, a single page each week. So divide each lesson page by the number of days per week that you want to have grammar practice. You can easily tailor the schedule to your specific needs. For example, day 1, teach a new concept to your student using the cards and the teacher material. Follow the pattern outlined in the teacher guide. Days 2 through 4, your student follows the pattern from day 1. Most worksheets provide 10 to 12 sentences, so plan 4 days at 3 sentences per day. Check their work daily and review concepts, but remember, go at your own speed. Now for day 5, the teacher manual recommends pulling sentences from your students' reading or writing assignments so they can apply what they've been learning. But of course, there will be no teacher key for that kind of assignment. Teacher be warned. Now be aware, by lesson 16, the grammar gets more challenging and requires more abstract thinking. Younger students may need to slow down significantly at this point. And then lesson 23 introduces the noun function cards, which identify the different jobs that nouns do in sentences. On the front of each card, there will be steps to follow. Let's look at card 1 with the sentence, "Mother rides a bus." First, we use the parts of speech cards to identify each word. Noun, verb, article, noun. There are 2 nouns in this sentence, but are these 2 nouns doing the same job? Card 1 tells us to look at the main verb in the sentence. That's the word rides. When we ask, well, who or what rides? Well, that's easy, mother. That's the subject of the sentence. At this point, we don't know what the function of the other noun is, but we know it isn't the subject, and we'll learn its job later as we work through the other noun function cards. By the time you're at the end of the basic level, you'll have learned all 8 noun functions, including what that bus was doing in the sentence. These are the main components of the Winston Grammar Basic course. And when you finish, you have some other Winston product options. The Basic Supplemental Workbook. It provides more practice or works great if you have a second student you're teaching simultaneously with the Basic. This way, each student can have their own sentences to work on the same grammar concept. WordWorks focuses on word usage, such as proper subject-verb agreement and word choice. And finally, the advanced level is a next level grammar, adding 5 lessons that cover upper level grammar concepts like interrogative pronouns and gerunds and complex sentences and more. Now, this Winston Grammar program incrementally teaches grammar concepts and lays a solid grammar foundation. With its multi-sensory learning, the cue cards, the low teacher demand, and the possible connections with your students' reading, this program fits perfectly for a lot of learning situations. If you found this video helpful, click the like button, and we invite you to subscribe to the Rainbow Resource Center's YouTube channel. We would love to help you figure out what grammar or ELA curriculum best fits your family. Contact our curriculum consultants for free at 888-841-3456 or email us at consultants@rainbowresource.com or contact us via live chat or phone 8:30 to 5 Central Time, Monday through Friday.